Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
Rockford Public Schools still need bus drivers. The benefits offered to draw people in as more bus routes are canceled.
A local college hosts an open house for another career dealing with a shortage of workers. Administrators say it offers students options to train just like being on the job.
And two state line high schools team up for a good cause, the accomplishments they celebrated today. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Eric Wilson.
Rockford Public Schools bus driver shortage rolls into the final few weeks of school. RPS 205 has had to cancel a handful of routes every day since Monday.
Administrators want to solve the problem by drawing attention to benefits for new drivers. The district is not loosening qualifications, but it does have different ways to attract people in the community. New drivers will get a $3,000 sign-on bonus along with $250 every 2 weeks for perfect attendance. Training up through getting a CDL license is also paid for, and if prospective drivers are a little intimidated, they can always stop by for a visit.
If you're apprehensive about the size of the bus, come down, we can take you out and take the bus for the spin. It's not so bad.
If you're interested in driving for District 205, you can apply online. We have a link to the application on mystateline.com.
Highland Community College is trying to help the nursing shortage here in the state line. The Nursing and Allied Health Programs at Highland Community College in Freeport is holding an open house right now. Opportunities range from part-time nursing to CNA and medical assistant programs. Potential students can learn about the state-of-the-art equipment the college has to offer, as well as get the chance to get a hands-on approach with the program.
I feel that our program offers students the education that they need to feel comfortable going into that clinical practice. So we're able to offer them a real life environment, such as the one you see behind me. It looks exactly like like you would see in a hospital, so that they feel comfortable learning in the classroom.
The open house runs tonight until 7 at Highland's Natural Science Building in Freeport. President Biden travels to Buffalo, New York. He visited with families of the 10 people killed at a supermarket over the weekend. Investigators call the shooting a detailed, premeditated plan of attack. Rena Roy also shows us why they believe race was a factor.
President Biden and the First Lady pausing in prayer and a moment of silence at a growing memorial outside Tops Supermarket on the east side of Buffalo, New York.
Jill and I have come to stand with you. And to the families, we've come to grieve with you.
The president meeting with the victims' families, promising this country will stand by them in this time of mourning and condemning what he called a racist rampage.
What happened here is simple and straightforward. Terrorism, domestic terrorism. White supremacy is a poison.
Oh my God, he shot so many people in there.
A senior law enforcement source telling ABC alleged gunman 18-year-old Peyton Gendron self-radicalized in the pandemic, absorbing hate-filled social media posts and posting increasingly violent and racist rhetoric himself in the weeks leading up to Saturday's attack. Officials say Gendron compiled lengthy documents detailing why and how he planned to carry it out.
These hateful philosophies are starting to become mainstream, and they took hold in the mind of an 18-year-old who lives 3 hours from here. And he targeted this community.
The predominantly black community reeling over the 10 lives lost when police say Gendron stormed the supermarket armed with an AR-15 assault-style rifle, live streaming the whole thing.
And I watched the video. He shot my mom once. My mom was laying on the ground. He went and reloaded. And he shot my mom again.
The massacre renewing calls for greater gun control.
You can have that hate in your heart, and you can sit in your house and ferment these evil thoughts, but you can't act on it unless you have a weapon.
That was Rena Roy reporting. Hundreds of Ukrainian soldiers defending the steel plant in Mariupol have surrendered. It appears to mark the fall of the city after nearly 3 months of fighting across the country. At least 50 of the more than 260 soldiers are seriously wounded. They were carried out on stretchers. Ukrainian leaders have avoided using the term surrender. They instead say the fighters, quote, completed their mission.
Ukraine needs Ukrainian heroes alive. The operation to save the defenders of Mariupol has been started by our military intelligence. The work continues to return guys home.
Ukraine hopes to negotiate a prisoner exchange with Russia. It's unclear if that will happen. A top Russian official called the soldiers, quote, war criminals who must be brought to justice.
Congress holds its first hearing in 50 years on rising concerns over unidentified flying objects. Pentagon officials testified that these aerial phenomena are a potential national security threat. The hearing comes after a report released last year looked at nearly 150 reports of mysterious objects flying through restricted military airspace. Lawmakers and military command are concerned that foreign adversaries like Russia or China may be sending technology to American airspace.
Given the nature of our business, national defense, we've had to sometimes be less forthcoming with information in open forums than many would hope. If UAP do indeed represent a potential threat to our security, then the capabilities, systems, processes, and sources we use to observe, record, study, or analyze these phenomena need to be classified at appropriate levels.
Lawmakers will get their own classified briefing after the public hearing.
The FDA approves the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID booster for kids ages 5 to 11. Those companies make the only COVID-19 vaccine available for children of any age in the U.S. The CDC must decide whether to formally recommend the booster. Its scientific advisors are scheduled to meet Thursday. The U.S. is averaging about 91,000 cases a day, up from 57,000 2 weeks ago. Students at State Line High Schools partner with a local nonprofit for a major accomplishment.
Construction students from Guilford and East High Schools built 2 homes with Habitat for Humanity. The organization and RPS honored their work at a dedication ceremony. This marks the 7th Habitat home built by Guilford and the 2nd built by East. The construction teacher at East High School says even working in the winter, it's worth it in the end.
I mean, when the project starts, they like, because it's kind of a break for school to get out here and be on site for a couple hours and be hands-on. But after a while, they realize winter hits, it's work, and you got to be out here every day in the cold. You know, we didn't get heat for most of the winter, so they got to kind of, work on maintaining their enthusiasm and keep them going. But then, spring comes around, the house is starting to get done, and then they can kind of really see what it was all about.
Since 1988, Habitat has built 140 houses in Rockford. Their critical home repair program will expand this year with funding from the city's Housing Development Corporation. When you think of barbecue, you probably think of Tennessee or Texas, but there's an award-winning pitmaster right here in the Forest City.
He's part of a team that just won the best beef in the world. Nikel Delgado spent the afternoon with him. Nikel, did you learn any secrets?
Well, Eric and Mimi, Little Nick's Barbecue on Auburn Street is part of a competitive cooking team called the Boys Night Out. Just a bunch of guys from different areas that love to cook and have fun doing it. The owner does tell me it still doesn't feel real.
My dad competed in barbecue and had some barbecue businesses as a kid growing up, so I have just kind of been ingratiated into barbecue since the youngest memories that I can think of.
Thaddeus Dendriff II is a 4th-generation pit master. He lived in Rockford for more than a decade and just opened up Little Nick's Barbecue last February.
It was one of those things, it was really quick. Everybody's in this euphoric stage, like, is this real? By the time we figured out it was real, it was time to move on to the next meet. But it was a great time. It's awesome. It's barbecue heaven.
Little Nick's Barbecue is a part of a competitive cooking team called the Boys Night Out. They're a bunch of guys who like to cook and have fun. The team includes barbecue experts from across the nation.
All these guys get together and we bring all these palates from all these different geographies of the country, and then they just all form just these great things and these great ideas. So that's amazing to watch.
Last week, they competed in Memphis in May World Championship Barbecue Cooking Contest, placing 3 times, 2nd place in the vinegar barbecue sauce, 2nd place in the whole hog, and 1st place, World Championship Beef.
World Championship Barbecue is right here in Rockford, and for 2022, we can say the best beef in the world is right here in 815. I mean, it's amazing, so we can all take pride in that.
Little Nick's Barbecue is partnering up with the Bubble Hive and are going to be having a food truck rolling around Rockford. Eric, Mimi?
Now, your first warned weather forecast from meteorologist Jordan Wolf
We have seen some light and scattered rain showers that are beginning to move into the area here this afternoon. Satellite and radar does bring that line of showers into the area here earlier in this afternoon. Now we are seeing a little bit of a break, and that's because we are seeing some of that drier air working in, but we will see that second wave of showers come in later on into the evening and during the overnight tonight. Here's that line of showers that are working their way across parts of Iowa now, producing actually a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings to the southern part of Iowa, northern part of Missouri. We're not expecting any severe weather here tonight, but we could see a couple of steadier showers mixed in with the broken showers that'll come in later in during the evening. A live look outside of the gloomy conditions we're seeing here at the Poplar Grove Airport. Our SkyTrack camera out there showing those cloud cover really thick with that system that's working its way in, bringing these rain showers here for the afternoon and evening. Underneath that cloud cover, we are still seeing those temperatures that are dropped back down just a little bit from the afternoon highs. We are up to 68 now in Rockford. We are seeing a little bit of sunshine to the south and southwest. That's allowing the temperatures back up into the 70s there. But underneath that, we are seeing those temperatures that only topped out in the 70s here during the afternoon. Now this is a good time to reminder, grab your phone out and download the First One Weather app to get your forecasts on the go. We are seeing those temperatures here tonight that will drop back down into the 50s. Chances for rain throughout the evening and overnight as well, although during the day tomorrow temperatures will hold off right around the 60s. And we will see a return of some sunshine later on into the day as well. So recapping all that, we are seeing the temperatures down into the low 50s tonight, officially 53 for our low, holding on to those rain showers throughout the overnight and into the early part of tomorrow as well. We're back up into only the upper 60s during the day tomorrow, officially 67 in Rockford, holding on to the rain chances initially during the day, but could see some sunshine later on into the afternoon and evening as well. So we time this out with Futurecast. We're seeing these rain chances that come in later on, very broken in nature, but we could see a couple of periods of those heavier or steadier rain showers, I should say, later on into the overnight. By the time we get into tomorrow, we're actually looking much more broken and might even see a couple of some breaks in the clouds and might see some sunshine into the afternoon and evening as well. The evening, though, does look clear ahead of another system that could bring us some much more warm conditions during the day on Thursday, as well as a chance for some storms later on into the afternoon. Now, here's that Storm Prediction Center outlook. A slight risk, a level 2 out of 5, just off to our northwest. A marginal risk does clip part of the state line, so something we'll definitely be keeping an eye on for the chance for some storms later on into the week. And then there's another risk for some storms to the south and southeast as a cold front comes through during the day on Friday. Another outlook from the Storm Prediction Center we're keeping an eye on. Now those temperatures will be a lot warmer for the later part of the week, but as we get into the weekend, notice what the jet stream does. It dips right back down to the south, and that brings our temperatures back down close into the 60s, even the low 60s for a couple of days during the week. So we check out 7-day forecast that shows the temperatures back up into the 80s for the later part of the week. We're back down into the 70s with that chance for storms, but then that cold front brings us right back down to the low 60s for the weekend, but we do get a lot more sunshine into early next week.
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
Another state line native is in the NFL. Harlem graduate Josh Black has signed with the Saints. This is a photo he tweeted out an hour ago signing his contract. Black is a defensive lineman out of Syracuse. He went undrafted, though, last month. The Bears gave him a tryout at their rookie camp 2 weeks ago. The Saints invited him to their rookie camp last week. He impressed them enough to get a deal, so he will take part in their organized team activities and mini camps, and then in July report to training camp. At that point, he'll still have to battle to make their regular season roster. Black was named honorable mention All-Atlantic Coast Conference last season with Syracuse. And the White Sox are going to go as far as their starting pitching takes them this season. It was excellent last night when Johnny Cueto was on the mound. It was excellent again today in Kansas City with Dylan Cease on the hill. Cease was in complete command. In the third inning, he blows one by Salvi Perez. The next batter was Ryan O'Hearn, and Cease owned him. Then MJ Melendez up, and he whiffs on a high one. Cease had 9 strikeouts in 5 2/3 innings. Jose Abreu also came up big for the Sox in the 5th inning. He sends one to the gap. That scored a pair of runs. The Sox led 3-0, and the Sox took it 3-0. They'll play a second game later this evening. Cubs will host the Pirates again this evening. Keegan Thompson will be going after his 3rd win on the mound. Last night, Wilson Contreras was one of the big stars in the Cubs' 9-0 win over the Pirates. In the first inning alone, he doubled, then he hit a grand slam. He's the first Cub to double and hit a grand slam in the same inning since Frank Schulte did it in 1911. Not only that, but that slam was also the 100th home run of Contreras' career. To get the ball back from the fan who caught it, he had to make a deal.
I just met the guy that caught the ball, and I gave him a few baseball and a bat, and he was cool with it. A couple of pictures, and I'm glad that I get the baseball back. I'm just gonna go to my dad.
It takes me back to memories, and hitting my 100th here was a really cool moment for me, and it took me a lot longer to do it, obviously.
Sure did. Well, the NBA playoffs pick back up tonight. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Heat and the Celtics will be played in Miami.
Jordan will have another look at weather in just a moment.
First, here's what's coming on News Nation.
A record number of migrants are coming into our country, and we wondered where they're going once they get here. Tonight, we find out in a shocking exclusive report. News Nation's Brian Nenton exposes why airplanes full of migrants are quietly landing at airports in your hometown. We have tracked the flights, found the planes, and learned the crisis at the border isn't as far away as you might think. We'll break down why this is happening in a story you won't see anywhere else on News Nation Prime.
That is all coming up on News Nation. You can watch it on any of these cable or satellite stations. Also, newsnation.com.
Jordan's back with another check of the weather. A little cooler later the week.
Right, yeah, we're looking at those temperatures. It'll be at least a little bit cooler than what we had, especially last week, but we are back into the 80s. Those cooler temperatures, they're a result of the rain showers that we have during the day today there on the Rockford Auto Glass. First one, interactive radar, but then the temperatures back up into the near 80s for Thursday and Friday. That comes with a chance for some storms and showers as well. Cold front Friday, along with those storms, brings our temperatures nearly 20-degree drop into the day on Saturday. We hold on to those temperatures in the 60s into early next week.
All right, thanks, Jordan.
And thank you for spending some of your time with us. Stay safe.